night randomness, trying out my nighttime old man glasses. What's up, Pete? I don't know if they help me play any better. I think that's a lost cause, but they help me see the screen better. I will say, my God, this 10 months of lockdown has absolutely crushed my eyes. It's just been insane, the rapid decline. I've had really good eyesight most of my life, never worn glasses of any kind, and this amount of staring at a screen has just made my eyes go bam. Maybe part of it is, now I'm 41 or whatever, but it's been unbelievable, the rapid decline. I got some. These aren't the blue lens ones. I got these other blue lens ones for looking at the screen in here, but I didn't like them. They didn't seem to help. Whoa, somebody asked me about Tommy Lee Strider. Yeah, dude, I took lessons from Tommy for years. Such an incredibly kind gentleman and talented guitar player and teacher. Learned a lot from him. Lots and lots of fundamentals and also just good attitude and good techniques and things like that. Tommy is a gentleman and a scholar. Yes, I'm 41 years old. Yep. Just turned 41 in October. Oh, Tim, what's up? Long time no talk to you on a computer. Tim Lurch in the house, everybody. I just interviewed him for the channel the other day. Oh yeah, the new course on True Fire is all about my heroes, so that was a fun one to do. Also got a rhythm one coming. Hey, Austin. What's up, man? Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. It's almost Hanukkah for me here, so I'll be lighting the candles soon. Have I ever tried noiseless single coils? I have, and I'm still yet to find ones I absolutely love. I had Bardens back in the day because I was obsessed with Danny Gatton and Jimmy Thackeray, and, they don't sound like single coils, but they do sound great. Pete, man, this guy still has your pedal. Also, my armware crashed a lot 2020. I don't know what that means. Sorry, I'm just reading everybody's things. Did I like Greg Cox single coils? Yes. Actually, you're right. That's a good one for noiseless. I was impressed with the Fluence when Greg was here at the studio recording a little bit this year before the pandemic, and I got to spend a little time with him, and I was definitely impressed. And also, Tosin Abasi had him in his Abasi Telly style guitars, and I was impressed with him in there. So you're right. That would be probably top of the heap as far as quiet single coil Telly pickups that I've heard. Good call. What do I think of Klons? And can I signature guitar? No, I can't mention the company yet. What do I think of Klons? I've never been a Klon guy, to be honest. I've tried them over the years and never been able to make them work. They just kind of don't do it for me. I will say that I have the Archer pedal, and while I don't know if it sounds like a Klon or not, because again, I'm not a big Klon guy, I do think that pedal sounds good. But not so much where I needed to have it on my board or anything like that. It's just not my vibe. Oh yeah. No, I've worn off a lot more on the telly. You're right. Armware. I got you. Sorry, slow on the uptake on that one. Do I often encounter musicians who prioritize technical complexity over sounding good? Well, I don't think anybody tries to not sound good, but certainly guys put most of their effort and time into technical things. Sure, I've met guys like that. But I don't think they're never doing it trying to sound, not good or not musical. It's just their path and the way people go. You got to have a healthy balance of all that stuff. I'm always trying to learn new stuff, but always trying to sound in the moment too when improvising and sound musical and honest. So it's just a balance. Have you ever heard the band Clutch? No, I haven't. I'll check them out. Favorite Univibe? I like the Jam Univibe. I like the old school Bob Sweet, Ultra Vibe, and Mojo Vibe. They're really, really great. And Bob was a good friend who I miss. Yeah, Box and B. Yeah, is that one of the backing track ones? Is that Jam Tracks or True Fire? I'm not sure. Done so many of those. That's right. Pete has my Mojo Vibe on his board. That's right. I forgot that's where it was. Oh, someone just got a myriad fuzz. Ruling. Yeah, it's loud. I mean, you can hear when I turn it on. Pretty loud. That's also why it's really good. Shopping for overdrives and boosts. Any recommendation? You're in Brazil and you can't find a chula. Dude, there's tons of chulas on Reverb. Um, it just depends on what you're looking for, man. I'm not so much a straight overdrive guy these days. When I choose overdrive, I normally want it to kind of sound like a tube screamer. So I go for the soloist or the duelist. Um, but the Jan Ray, I can always recommend as a very good, clean, dynamic overdrive that will handle kind of anything you throw at it. How do I set my JS12 run recording? Usually it's volume just about half or just below, treble just about half, just above or below, depending on the sound I'm going for that time. Bass just below half, and reverb and dwell to taste pretty much. It's an amp that's almost impossible to make it sound bad, quite honestly. Have I ever played the Mississippi Chula? Yeah, I think that's more of a fuzzy Chula, I believe. I don't have one. I think I've played one. Maybe Pete, actually, my friend, has one, I think. And I think that's the Germanium Chula. Nervous about what? Good evening, Minnesota. Hello, Chicago. How did I develop your style? Like how to be original? Um, Man, my style is, a mix of my heroes. In fact, that's the video I'm working on today. Is kind of talking about your heroes and how to focus on like learning from your heroes and learning all this stuff that you want to work on. Um, but then how do you make it your own? And not just be aping what other guys do. And it's a difficult thing, because you want to learn this stuff. There's a reason it gets you excited because it's great, and you want to learn stuff note for note. You want to learn licks and and things that you hear your heroes play, things that excite you and just that you enjoy. But yeah, eventually you've got to like flip a little switch and kind of start taking those things and make them your own. Um, so actually, I worked on a video for that today, which will probably go up this week. Do I use the cage method? Not really. My leg is restless. Oh yeah, my leg is always restless. I'm always bouncing. What's a better Vox style amp, the Morgan AC40 Deluxe or the Dual 40? Oh, they're both killer. I mean, they're both, the same kind of family. Um, I had a Dual 40. It turned into a AC40 Deluxe, I think. And they're just killer amps. Joe knows his way around a Vox style amp. How do I feel about wet dry rigs? I really like them. Um, I like parallel stuff happening. It's part of the reason the Big Myriad exists. It's because I like to have different things going in different amps. So I don't necessarily need to have wet, dry, wet, but I do like when certain things are different on multiple amps. Germanium are the master transistor. I like silicon too, though. That's why they're both in the Myriad fuzz. How did I get my start in recording? Well, you know, my first recording experiences were only making my own music as a kid. Back in Florida, doing blues records and things like that. And back then, I had no interest in like learning about how to record, how to mic amps, how to do any of those things. And then when I moved to Los Angeles in 2002, so 18 years ago now, then I started doing session work. So then I got interested in why does a guitar sound this way if you mic it with this mic versus this mic? Why do these preamps sound that way? Why do you use compression? Why do you EQ this way? Um, and I would just like pick up little things along the way from watching producers and engineers and checking the choices that they would make and the sounds that they would get, from my playing, and that way I could really understand it. And then, of course, when I built the studio, then I went off the deep end, like learning about recording, and now I produce a lot of records on my own, so I had to kind of learn, all the basics so that I can pull off this kind of stuff when I don't have help to do it, and it became very fun in the same way that I treat learning new things on the guitar, the ability to like work on new things and just learn how to mic up a drum set properly, or mic up a guitar, an acoustic guitar, and get a good sound, or how to get a good organ tone, what that entails, miking a Leslie, those type of things. I like learning new things, so I dove headfirst into that. What's my advice on learning the neck? Man, the two things that best help me with comfort factor all across the neck are pentatonic scale, all five shapes in every key, of course, and then running major scales as chords in from all your shapes, kind of like the cage system. But just like run up, the circle of fifths. So just go through the major scale, play, G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D dominant, and run the scale. You know what I mean? E minor, F sharp, minor 7 flat 5, and then G major again, and do it from each one of your shapes. That'll get you comfortable so that, like, if you know your pentatonic boxes everywhere and you're playing BB King. So I'm in the third position pentatonic box, right? And someone, calls out a 2 or whatever. I've got it right here. Or a 6, I've got it right here. You know what I mean? And you'll always have your shapes connected to each one of the pentatonic boxes, and then you'll really never feel lost on the fretboard. I think those are the two things that made me the most comfortable all across the fretboard. So hopefully that helps. What are good songs to get into Larry Carlton? Oh, geez, Louise, man. Steely Dan, Joni Mitchell, Michael Franks. I mean, geez, there's so much great Larry Carlton stuff. Also, the Bobby Bland record, Dreamer, with him and Dean Parks. I mean, he plays on so much great music. It's like I could list stuff forever. but I'm partial to some of his rhythm work on Joni Mitchell records. Um, and then on his own stuff, I mean, obviously, I love Room 335. I love the Bubble Shuffle. Larry's just a hero. Everything he plays is great. Oh, now the questions are going by fast. Oh, thank you for the kind words, man. What do I think of Rory Gallagher and George Harrison? Oh, man. Well, Rory Gallagher was like a force of nature. I'd be lying if I said I listened to him a ton as a kid, like in my formative years, but as I grew older, I appreciated it more. Love the Bullfrog Blues, man. And George Harrison, geez, I don't even know what needs to be said about that. I was actually listening to Traveling Wilburys today, and it was just striking the simple parts that he played on that record, even like just really brilliant stuff. That guy just, it just oozed out of him. Good music. Yeah, these are my old man glasses. Regarding the myriad, what led you to the GISI blend? Did it start with stacking different fuzz pedals? No, it didn't start with stacking different fuzz pedals. I just really wanted the ability for it to sound good in any situation, which germanium doesn't always sound good every day or in all temperatures and climates. So the blend led it to be very stable. It was mostly about stabilization. And then, yeah, being able to get, all the good sounds of both transistors. I just wanted maximum flexibility and dynamic range. Is the guitar too loud? I could turn it down compared to the voice. I'll turn it down a little bit. There we go. Let me catch up. What hard drives do I use in my studio? I like the Samsung T5 drive, solid state USB drives. They're just incredibly reliable. I've never had one shit the bed. It always works, and they're fast and reliable and small. And I just print out little labels and label each one so I know what's on them. And I back up everything at the end of every day's sessions to a few of my big backup drives, giant terabyte drives. And yeah, I just kind of keep little stock of solid state drives. It is a lot of data. The video is making it harder because the video is just enormous. How long have I been playing? Since I was 6 years old, so 35 years. Play blues, jeans blues. I don't know what that is. Yeah, the Samsung drives are just the performance and price is just slamming. It's really hard to beat, quite honestly. See me on the Blues Cruise, ruling. Tell you more about the new TrueFire course. So the new Heroes course is basically me giving my story about how I relate to six of my main heroes. So it's Albert King, BB King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, Danny Gatton, and then you actually get two for the price of one. Cornell Dupree and Steve Cropper in the same little video talking about rhythm guitar. And it's just like the things that I've learned from them, the things that excited me about their music, the things I've incorporated into my playing, and how I've used their things to kind of further my voice, not just copy them, but kind of bring in some of their inflection and essence in my playing. So I think it's actually a really good course. I think people will dig it. Do I ever play the song The Chicken? Of course. I played it all the time as a kid, absolutely. There you go. Difference in approaching a 16-bar blues versus 12-bar blues. Oh, man, there's not a big difference as far as that goes. It's just, highlighting the changes as they go by, which is the same on any song. Um, you know, and maybe not resolving too soon or saying too much too soon within a chorus. How many hours in a day do I normally play? Um, it depends. It's not like it used to be when I was a kid. I'd play hours and hours and hours every day. Now I work every day, so that involves playing. So usually that's my playing time. But that's, play, put it down, play, put it down, talk, do this, record this, make a phone call. So it's, off and on guitar all day long, I guess, little by, in spurts. Can you get some chicken picking? Danny Gatton. Show us how he influenced you. Well, I did a whole video on how Danny influenced me, but many things. But yeah, he made me play, hybrid picking, which I'd never done before. It was a change. I don't know. He was just, a big hero. And also, there'll be a lot of that in the new True Fire course. Jimmy Herring interview. I'll try. I don't know Jimmy very well. When setting up an amp during a gig, do you have any tricks for being loud enough to not overpower the other musicians? Tricks? Man, it's hard because we all have a level we want to get to be comfortable for ourselves. And then there's a level of, the right balance with the other musicians. And then there's also a level that's right for the room and for the sound man and for the audience. What if your amp is right at ear level sometimes on stages, things like that. So it's a balancing act. It's tricky getting it right every night because there's certainly a level I need to get to be comfortable every night. And a lot of that is finding the right amp, the right wattage, not overkill. It's a lot about headroom. How much headroom do you need to feel comfortable? And then don't use an amp that has way too little headroom because they're going to be turning it up, to a level that's not pleasant and doesn't sound right. If you have the proper amount of headroom, sometimes you don't need to play quite as loud because, when you hit pedals and do things, it will stay together and be present. So it's a lot about finding the right amp volume level, wattage wise, and speakers for what you do and the tone you're trying to get. That's why super reverb has always been so practical for me because 40 watts, there's something special about that volume level and headroom. Yeah, glad you enjoyed the interview with Julian. He's a tremendously kind dude. And yeah, I hope we do something together in the future. We certainly have talked about it now, and hopefully that comes to pass because he's incredibly talented. Man, what an inspiration. Let me try to. Hello, Australia. What's the fastest way to get better at guitar? Man, that's a loaded question. There is no fast way, kind of. As with anything, it's all about how much time you put into something, right? What's the deal with the plate on the back of Danny's telly? It was a mounting bracket for the Magic Dingus box. So he had a box pre-MIDI that would control a Leslie and an Echoplex and the reverb and trem from his Fender amps. His dad made it for him. And had a big cable that hung off of it like an umbilical cord, a multi-pin cable. And that plate helped him mount it on the guitars. The Magic Dingus box. Would I recommend my Novo? Is it heavy? It's not heavy at all. It's roasted pine. It's very light. And I would recommend Novo incredibly with a healthy recommendation. They're, I think, some of the best made guitars on the planet at the moment. And I've never played a bad one, quite honestly. Dennis and his team are killing it. Been playing for 3 years and my practice is all over the place. What do you reckon you should split your practice time into? Man, again, the most important thing with practice is to have a purpose, but also to keep it fun. So you want to have goals, you want to have a reason for sitting down and practicing something. And so you need to accomplish, whatever that is. But you also need to keep it fun so that you keep going back and doing it. Because if you're gritting your teeth and not enjoying the practice and it's just tedious, you're not going to really enjoy that, whatever it is you're working on, and bring it into your playing. So you got to keep the attitude brisk and bright. Raphael Sadiq interview. I'm sure I can make that happen. Oh man, now the questions are flying by. Shoot. Is part of the Cornell Dupree thing with swing shuffles because he first started playing sax? Can you show us a sample of horn phrasing in your play? I don't know how much of it is whether he started playing with sax. Well, like when you listen to him play Soul Serenade, things like. Right? It's everything is swinging. And it's always, like a complete thought, a stream of consciousness. Whether he plays a fill, whether he plays chords, whether he plays double stops, it's always just never out of the pocket. And yeah, maybe some of that is because he played sax. I don't know, but it's always swinging, which is key. Have I played on Sadiq studio or live albums? Yeah, some. Have I ever tried to give pedal steel a go? No, I would like to. I'd like to get one just to have. And Jack Pearson. Yep, I'm going to try to make that happen. I don't know Jack all that well. Go to 4-pedal setup. Myriad Chula, H9, probably Soloist or Flashback Mini for my slap. That's probably be the 4th pedal. Glad you enjoyed the Julian Lage interview. Have I ever used an attenuator on the Super Reverb? No, I've never used an attenuator live ever, honestly. Roy Buchanan, what's my favorite song? Sweet Dreams. If you don't know that song, you should go check it out. Roy Buchanan, Sweet Dreams. How do you develop phrases and leave plenty of breathing room, build tension and resolve? Yeah, that's really important when telling a story and playing a solo. So much of what I do is about playing conversational. So, if I play a lick, I'm immediately hearing the answer that. Right? So I may hear. So right as an answer to that, I'm always going to go. And it'll be different every time, but I'm always listening to what I play previously and responding to it and creating a narrative, a story, a conversation that flows through. So every lick is influenced by whatever comes out right before it, which is an improvisation, of course, but I'm listening to it without question. So I practice things like trading with myself, singing lines and trading with those, creating themes, all that type of stuff. Do you like Octavia style pedals instead of only the clean octave? I like Octavia style pedals, yeah, but I just like to believe, because the Green Ringer style, so that's clean. Here's the Mythos Argonaut. So that gives me, kind of a unique tone. Which is something you can't do with an Octavia. But if I put the Chula with it, then I get this. Or if I put the fuzz with it, you get more of the Octavia. You're right. Or if I put the soloist. Oh, sorry. That needs a new battery. So, nope, not the soloist. So that's why I like the Green Ringer Star pedals. Argonaut is a knobless beast. Yeah, I mean, it's call and response. It's trading with yourself. It's having a conversation. It's listening to what's going on and just continuing down the path. Things take care of themselves. You know what I mean? It's like if I start any solo, So here I'm to the 4 chord, right? I'm gonna answer it. And then resolve my way back to the 1, and then I may play I don't know. I mean, it all takes care of itself kind of on the fly. So, there's breaths in there, but it's more like I'm telling a story. If I go, I only played that because of the first lick. I continue it. And it's from years of kind of just learning to narrate, and kind of hone in on what did I play? Oh, I'm going to continue. I'm going to make this make sense. I'm going to create a story that just goes, and makes sense. It's a lot of that is just time. How do we practice adding punctuation to licks? Oh, that's a good question. I do like to end a phrase. And also it's a good way to create space in your soloing and breaths. Albert Collins would play stuff like, and he always had in these little endings. And it's like, it's a natural pause. It's a natural breath. And it's like, wow, that just makes a breath happen. And then you fill in the gap after that. It takes care of itself. It's like anytime you take a breath, it's almost like the next idea just is given to you. It just arrives, and it's like, oh, I know what to play next. It's because you had that little pause. So Albert King would play those and do that little ending and end on the 5 there. Well, it's always a hole. So it's like, again, the next idea comes very naturally when you leave a little hole. So it's always good to have those little phrase enders. Oh, I see some of the someone spam the Albert Collins. Come on, we need the Albert Collins emoji. Come on, rulers. You have a sign married from LA Vintage. Sweet. How do I typically set mine? Volume and gain, kind of just below half. Feel depends on where I've got the germanium bias set. So I like the germanium bias just till it's hot enough that it's not spitty. And then I back it up just a little bit so it's slightly spitty. And then I turn the feel up until it goes back past being spitty again. And then back down until it's the littlest amount of spitty it could be. So then it's really dynamic. And then tone to suit. Kind of depends on the amp and the guitar. which is normally just below half or something like that. There we go. There's Albert Collins. By the way, those are the rulers. They're the subscribers to the YouTube channel. Not subscribers, but members. And you get those cool emojis and all the other things. If you're not a member of my YouTube group, you should become a ruler. A beginner ruler, an intermediate ruler, effing ruler, top tier. We're over in Discord having fun. Actually, I'm about to go in the Discord after this and post up what Jar asked me to post up, which was the isolated audio from the recording video, so you guys can hear all the isolated samples. So I just finished that before I started this stream. And I see him on there. Dude, those are coming now. JAR. I always just call you Jar because that's what it says on Discord. What are some of my favorite diminished licks? Oh, man. Well, one thing I think guys forget when they're playing diminished, when they play diminished rhythm, they always move it around in minor thirds, but not often do I enough do I hear guys actually do that in their solo. Like, you know, and I think that's something guys could take advantage of. So I think that's a good one, is to take whatever diminished lick you land on and try moving it around in minor thirds, but then break out quick. Do it one minor third and then break out into whatever pentatonic box you're by or whatever, something like that. That's the thing about diminished. To me, I don't treat it like a scale. I treat it like, you know, yes, it's a scale. Yes, it's an arpeggio, but I treat it more like this, just a few notes. There's always the diminished note. That's what it is. You're flattening a note. So I take, you know, the idea of that diminished, you know, sound, and it may just be the one note or lick or shape or arpeggio, and I'll just break it into its essential things, you know, and move it around a little bit. Diminished doesn't have to be so brief, though. You can hold. I mean, let's say you're on a vamp, an A, right? So I may play a bunch of this. To lead us back. I mean, if it's a vamp, you can create tension the whole time. It doesn't have to be brief. I mean, if you're moving between chords, you have to give it some thought. But if it's a vamp or something, you can hang on that diminished. Pretend you're playing Castlevania. You know, and let it roll out over and over and over again. You just started using 11s with a 12 on top, like Oz. Nice. My strings are 13s, yes. Can I talk about melodic minor to go between chords? Yeah, so melodic minor is something that I use but two ways. I'll play melodic minor of the 5th degree. So in A, I'll play E melodic minor over an A7. So that's using static melodic minor over a dominant chord. To connect chords together, this is the Wes Montgomery thing, playing melodic minor up a half step, going towards something. So say we're going from A to D, I may be playing A blues, right? And then I'll play B flat to lead me to D. So I would play anything melodic minor a half step above where I'm on, leading into whatever chord I'm going to next. And again, this is kind of like a diminished thing. It just kind of works. It's an altered sound. So, I mean, you could go from A to E minor by playing B flat. Yeah, just depends. But that's the way I think of melodic minor, those two ways. When over a static dominant chord, I'll play melodic minor of the fifth degree. When moving between chords, I will play melodic minor a half step above the chord I'm on, and then land on whatever chord I'm going to next. Does that make sense? Right. On the fifth degree, it's Lydian dominant, altered scale. Yeah, Austin, isn't it cool? Do I have a favorite Yankees player of all time? Don Mattingly. He was my hero growing up. I wanted to be Don Mattingly. And of course, I like Jeter, and I'd like, that was my era, growing up as teenager, Jeter and Mariano Rivera, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Scott Brocious. These were my guys, But Mattingly was my hero. Do I have to cut the nut slots deeper on my guitar? Sometimes, yes. Are you thinking about all of this when I'm improvising, or am I just improvising? Both. I'm mostly thinking what's the next chord, and the rest of this stuff I let be autopilot, like the decision to play altered scale or melodic minor, or the decision to play a diminished chord in between, or to play a 2-5-1. That stuff I let kind of take care of itself. It's normally based on where I end up on the fretboard, what I played just previous, and what chord is happening next. So again, I'll use the same example. If I'm sitting here playing B.B. King in A, and I want to get to D, I may make a choice just because I'm looking at it. Maybe I'll play a 2-5 here to play that E minor to A to work me to D. Or I'll play D flat diminished. Right? Or I'll play B flat melodic minor. A lot of that is just be what I'm looking down at the fretboard, and it'll catch my eye, like, oh, you're in this spot, do this, like I'm looking here and I just think, oh, I've got an E, so let's play a 2-5-1, or something like that. It's all completely improv, but it's from having done the homework and kind of built up the muscle memory to make those decisions very quickly on the fly. Kirk Fletcher interview. Certainly, it's coming. Come on, you don't even need to ask if I'm going to do a Kirk Fletcher interview. That's my brother. Robin Ford interview. I would like to do that, but I don't know Robin that well. I need to reach out to him, though. Certainly possible. When I say play E minor, am I playing the arpeggio? Not necessarily. I'm playing something that will give me the essence of E minor. So maybe it'll just be one note. I might play E to lead me to A. And then to D. Or maybe I'll play a complete... It just depends. It's not always an arpeggio or a scale. It's something that fits against that chord as it goes by. Maybe one note, So if it's E minor 7 I want, I might just go like literally. So I played the 7 to make an E minor 7, and then make an A dominant 7. And resolve down to a D. I might even do that. Again, it's just all on the fly. Tomo interview. Yeah, I'm sure I will get to a Tomo interview. Good friend. Tomo's great. To Julian Lage again. Do I ever transcribe horn players? I don't ever transcribe anybody all the way, but certainly I've learned horn player solos. Absolutely. Ever play with violin or cello? Uh, Not very often, but on my "Don't Give Up on Me" record, there's a huge string orchestra on most of that record. What do I think of Bernie Williams' guitar playing? I love that Bernie Williams plays guitar. I've met him at NAMM a few times, and I've explained to him what a fan of his I am as a baseball player, and how cool it is. Excuse me, that he plays guitar. And yeah, I try to see him whenever he's playing. That was my first ever jersey. Actually, I had a Bernie Williams '51 jersey. Big Bernie Williams fan. Switch hitting center fielder. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. That's very kind of you. You used to get Guthrie Trap and I confused. Is that because we're both incredibly handsome? If so, then I'll accept it. Actually, there's a Guthrie Trap interview coming for the channel. Who did I copy to get my swing feel together? Well, I mean, it was Charlie Parker #1, but also Monk, man. Listen to Monk play simple, you know. Like, you know, when you hear him play. Things like that, you know, like real slow swinging, you know, quarter notes. Like, man, that'll ingrain that feel deep into your playing as much as playing, you know, fast stuff. Listen to T-Bone Walker play little, you know, swing blues players. Like, listen to the horn section on T-Bone Walker. They play like. Little parts like that, right? Man, the phrasing of those little parts help me to get swing feel together, fitting things in the gaps, you know, all that stuff, all of the above. Am I a Matheny fan? Absolutely, yeah. Miles Davis fan, all eras, absolutely, yep. Interview with Art, I'm sure I can make that happen. Can I talk about my right hand form? Yeah, it's just always hybrid picking. I'm floating and using mostly my middle finger, you know. I did a video about that. If you're interested, you can check my YouTube for the hybrid picking video. Time for new strings. Man, questions are flying by. It's hard to keep up. Jubu interview. Yes, I've reached out. Because if you don't know Jubu, you should. What piece of gear gives me the most fits? Ooh. The most fits. That's a good question. Huh. I don't know. Nothing really drives me crazy. I'm fanatical about intonation, so Telecasters, it's an oxymoron that I like Telecasters with 3 saddles, you know? So I'm always kind of tweaking and trying to get my intonation better. Thank you so much for the super chat, dude. Greatly appreciated. Something not correctly grounded, that drives me crazy too. You're right. Phase and grounding, isolation, all sorts of things like that. Little noise that shouldn't be there, that stuff drives me crazy. Yep. No, I'm going to try to get Jack Pearson for sure. Who do I watch on YouTube? I watch Rick Beato for certain. Who else do I watch? I watch Sam the Cooking Guy. I can't help it. I like watching him cook all that stuff. I watch. What else do I watch? I watch a little bit of. Well, obviously, I watch the Pedal Guys, the Pedal Show. I mean, those are my friends, and I love everything they do. I watch Josh, JHS, Josh Scott. I watch all everybody's stuff. I watch some Paul Davids. I watch, Chris Buck. I mean, people I know. I watch their YouTube stuff just because I like to see what people are doing, and everybody's making such great content and being creative. Posting a video of Angel live. Yeah, absolutely. I have the one from Live at the Spud outtake. Well, it's just not on the final DVD, but I have it. I could post it up. Absolutely. I might make it members only because it's a cover, so it'd be easier for me to put it in the members only section. Can I answer a question about secondary dominants in the minor scale? Sure. What would you like to know? Which modes of melodic minor? Oh, not so many, man. Lydian dominant is about the only one. I need to dive back into melodic minor modes. When something the 5 in a minor scale is minor, but secondary dominants are major. Oh, well, yeah. Okay, so in a minor, say we're playing a minor blues, right? You can always play a secondary dominant over a minor chord. Always. Now, yes, if there's a minor 5 in the song, that's a kind of another way of treating it. The secondary dominant to me would be a substitution for the 1. So it'd be like going. Like you can always play E over that 1. Right? But if the chord in the song is an E minor, that's a different story. So you got to think of secondary dominant as a substitution for the chord, that it's the secondary dominant of. And then that's another cool way of, moving between chords is using secondary dominants, basically like a 2-5-1 to create bridges between chords. So like when I went from that 1 to the 4, play A dominant 7. Which is, basically just playing the 5 of D minor, which is secondary dominant. Do I use diminished on static 7#9 chords like Robin, or is it all blues like Hendrix? Oh, I do both. It depends. I mean, 7#9 is, to me, the 7#9 chord is all about context. Like in the Hendrix vibe, I'm gonna mostly play blues. But right, if it's a 7#9 like in this. In those situations, then I'm absolutely gonna play diminished sometimes in between there. Yeah, it just depends on the environment. But you can play diminished over 7#9 the Hendrix way too, just to create tension. How do I describe Chris Buck's sound? Super melodic. Yeah, he is super melodic. I mean, he's a really good guitar player and a really nice dude. Always comes to see me play when I'm in the UK, and that's very nice of him to come out and see the show. And he's a really nice young man and an excellent player. Thoughts on George Benson? Come on. What could be said? Ruling, guys. Thanks all for hanging out. I think I might get back to a little bit of work here before it gets too late. When do you go to the 4 minor? The 4 minor is all about tension again, so I'll use the 4 minor anytime I'm creating some sort of tension as a motif. And again, it doesn't always have to be, you know, on the 4. You know, I don't have to be playing D and D minor always to get me back to 1. Like I could be playing it to get me to the 4. Like I could play A and G, like G minor to lead me to D. Which is, you know, I don't think it's always just about the tension. So, like literally, I could be playing here. Played G minor to lead me to D. It's just about tension. And again, you hear that, right? If I play, then this sounds great. If I play, this sounds great, you know? So the same reason I would use a 2-5 or a diminished chord or any of that stuff, just to create tension. So I'm not afraid to use 4 minor anywhere. What do I think of the Kemper? Honestly, I've never spent any time with it. Thanks, everybody, for the good hang tonight. Yeah, I'm going to get back to work. Hope you like the glasses. It was weird wearing them on the stream. I wasn't sure. The vain me was like, should I wear glasses on stream? But the practical me was like, I can see the computer better, especially at night. It's weird. My eyes get tired by like 6 o'clock these days from staring at screens all day. Thank you guys for such a ruling chat today. Look forward to this week's videos on YouTube. Again, if you're not a ruler, you should become one. And if you are an effing ruler, I'll see you in the Discord in a minute. I'm going to post up those clips that you asked for. And then tomorrow I'll post this week's video, and we'll talk about this week's challenge in the Discord. And then, yeah, we'll get into a new week of new content. Always inspiring to talk to the community. Thank you guys for helping me build it up. All right, ruling, everybody. Have a good night, and see you on the internet later.